Alright, so Jeff Nippard just posted his leg day that he did for his year-long experiment, so let's react to it. Alright, so we start off with lying leg curls, which are a great exercise and will bias the biceps femoris short head of the hamstrings. Oh no, Jeff Nippard. He did lying leg curls on his first leg day, and on his second leg day, he did seated leg curls so that he can have more variety. But doesn't he know that hypertrophy is muscle fiber specific? Yes, they'll bias different regions, but if you only do either one of them one time a week, then those specific muscle fibers that are only recruited in one exercise or the other are only going to be recruited and trained one time a week. And we know by the maintenance literature that 3 to 4 sets one time a week is going to be maintenance. So in order for him to grow those muscle fibers that he's trying to recruit and bias by having more variety, he'd need to do 5 sets, which I do not think he's doing. Oh no, dude. And he did lengthen partials after he hit failure, dude. Like, you're just doing more work in a declining state of motor recruitment. Alright, then he moved on to 3 sets of pendulum squats, which, it's going to be pretty good for the quads. I mean, I'd probably want to die from doing 3 sets, but, wait, what is this face that I paused on, bro? Oh no, bro. He just recommended a deload week, dude. Bro, the only reason why you'd need to deload is if your programming is not good. Alright, now he said that the thing that made the biggest difference for his hamstrings were RDLs, but the way that they're usually performed wouldn't even have hamstrings. Because an RDL means that you're going to have added knee bend, right? So if you have knee extension while hip extension is happening at the same time, then your hamstrings are going to suffer from antagonist inhibition. Alright, now he moved on to 2 sets of leg extensions, which, are the GOAT quad exercise. But in my opinion, I would have the leg extension before the pendulum squat, because the pendulum squat is going to be more of a longer length exercise, so the fatigue that comes from that is going to affect the leg extension more than it would vice versa. Alright, and he said that he started leaning back so that he can have a greater stretch on the rectus femoris, which can lead to more stretch-mediated hypertrophy, which is true, but the thing is, with some machines, though, it can also ruin the stability of the exercise, which can, just make things worse. So, oh shoot, bro, he's motor unit recruitment maxing, dude. He's strapped in with lifting straps to keep himself locked into the seat. Yo, he tapped into the seatbelt method, bro. He said that he found an airline seatbelt on Amazon for $5. I don't know where he found it for $5. I spent like $14, but that's a fat W, motor unit recruitment maxing. Then he moved on to the hip abduction machine. He said that he used to lean forward because he thought it biases the glute medius more, but found that leaning back biases it more. But one issue I find with this is that, no way that this is stable, dude, right? Alright, then he moved on to calves, where he did a straight-legged calf raise where he emphasized the stretch position, which is a good idea because the gastroc has best leverage in the stretch position. We were doing pretty good, bro, but then he says that he holds it in the stretch position after a set for 30 seconds, bro. Oh my days. I will say though, if the calves can benefit from stretch-mediated hypertrophy, then that can give it that. But he will also have to continue going into newer ranges of motion in order to continue getting those adaptations. And he also said that he did 2 sets of calf raises. So on the second set, when he already did the first set with the stretch, the fatigue from the stretch can definitely affect his second set. So if I were to do a calf stretch, it would be post-workout instead of doing it, in the middle of the workout. So I hope so, more.